Hello, viewers. My name is Bhaskar. I'm back with yet another edition of the Have Your Say Club presents Reading Ravens. Hope all of you are safe and healthy. Today, we are going to talk about a very interesting book. The very title of this book is a revelation in itself. The name of the book is, the title is Personality Isn't Permanent. Break free from self limiting beliefs and rewrite your story. Interesting, है ना? Now, as for psychology, personality refers to individual differences in characteristic patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Now, viewers, the key word here is characteristic. I was of the opinion that it remains constant with the changing environment, but that's what this book challenges. That's going to be very interesting because to talk more on this, we have with us a personality having a corporate experience of over 30 years, has been a sales leader, also a voiceover artist, and an energy medicine consultant, but most importantly, a very young, a very dynamic, and super enthusiastic person at heart. Our today's guest is Mr. Samir Goel. Samir, sir, good evening. How are you, sir? Sir, I'm sorry you're on mute. Yeah, sir, how are you?
I'm absolutely good, good, good. Good to listen to your voice. Good to see, watch you here, and I would like to convey my regard. Hello to everyone whosoever is watching out here and listening to us. Hi.
First of all, thank you for sparing time and talking to us on this book. And I can see you're as excited as me because I can see your background. It's it's exactly same as the cover page of the book.
Yes.
Why you chose this book, sir? Did someone recommend it to you, or you picked it up by chance?
Uh, as the other day, one of my friend actually had been discussing with me. There are three kind of readers in this world. The very first are accidental, another are incidental, and another are intentional. Uh,
Hmm.
as I'm an intentional reader, some other book when I had been reading, the name of this book as well as the name of the author just jumped out of the book and came to me. And when I just looked into the reviews of this book, I there and then decided that I would definitely read this book, the next book. So that book actually recommended this book to me.
Interesting. So, tell us something about the author, sir. Dr. Benjamin Hardy.
Yeah, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is actually an industrial psychologist, organizational psychologist. He had been doing his PhD and everything. He studied from UCLA. Then he joined a number of groups of psychologists across the world to run various trials. And he's a consultant, organizational consultant of many companies where productivity enhancement is required or company personnel really think that we can actually add some value to our own thinking. So, and he's a great blogger as well as podcaster. He had been speaking for Forbes, Fortune, CNBC, Cheddar, Big Thing. So his big time fan following is also there. Good speaker, a good orator, and a good writer.
How's the writing style of the author? Is it easy, okay, or too much of technicalities involved being a psychologist?
It always happens, Bhaskar, whosoever or one, whenever a person, picks up a book of psychology, this thing automatically comes in the mind that probably the psychologist whoever has written this book might have put extremely tight technical jargon in it, and it happened. I had read many books of the psychology, but Benjamin has seriously, very easily, very politely, very beautifully used very simple language. He connects all the aspects, all the concepts, all the facts, stories, real life stories, and all, uh, and explains very beautifully in a very normal language. It seems as if he is talking to me, like I am talking to you right now. So language is extremely.
So I can definitely pick this book up.
Definitely, definitely.
To me, the most intriguing thing about the book was its very title: Personality Isn't Permanent. How does author prove this point in the book?
I'll give you two examples. Yes. Mm, he has established this fact that personality keeps on changing every single moment by giving two examples. So one thing happens with everybody, almost everybody in the world. One kind of a failure changes the personality of a person, thinking of a person, behavior of a person, traits of a person. He gave an example of this lady called Rosalie. Uh, she had been very passionate about creating children's book by illustrating, by sketching, and by writing the story. She joined a college where she had been learning to sketch, to illustrate, and then the entire class, this event happened. The entire class was sketching and making those pictures, and the teacher very innocently came over and corrected his picture. Now, the entire class was just watching her and watching teacher correcting her picture. It was pretty embarrassing for her. That particular moment depressed her so much that she practically left the class, practically left the college, and forever dumped his idea of becoming a writer, children's book illustrator forever. She felt so bad that I'm not good at it because the teacher corrected my picture and nobody else's picture. And after practically 50 years, and she was from a very good background, very good family, very good environment, neighborhood, everything. After 50 years, I mean, for another 50 years, she kept this passion in herself. After 50 years, when she was 80 of age, she met Benjamin in a conference. And then she had been scribbling some pictures kind of a thing, and Benjamin actually watched her, and then they started talking. Then Benjamin asked what exactly happened, and she told the entire story. And Benjamin was practically shocked that you had been having this passion for last 50 years and you practically dumped it. And why shouldn't you do that? So that kind of a trauma which happened way back 50 years back, practically changed her personality. Otherwise, she could have become a very good writer. Benjamin supported her, counseled her, and then she started illustrating again, writing pictures again. So that kind one trauma happened in her life long back, and she could have been something else, but she became something else. So that personality changed because of this trauma. Another example he gave, very beautiful and again real life, and you would definitely be surprised to listen to this example. This was the first example was of trauma. The second example is of triumph, of an achievement, of a lifetime achievement, and we can always call it the best achievement in the world. Uh, when this Apollo lunar module program went to moon, two pilots were there in that ship, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. These were the two pilots who were there in Apollo. Neil Armstrong was the first person who came out of the ship and put foot on the moon. Aldrin was the second person. When they came back, I mean, it was think about it. These two astronauts for the first time in the world going to the moon, and when they had been coming over, they were celebrities, ultimate celebrities. Neil Armstrong was good. Aldrin was the second person. But coming back, after coming back to Earth, even after having that kind of achievement, becoming the second person to put foot on the moon, he developed a kind of mental disorder that he started thinking like, I have achieved the best in the world. Now, nothing I can do better. I have reached my limit. So finished. I'm finished. He started boozing, he started doing alcohol, drugs, everything. His military career was destroyed. His family was destroyed. And after 9 years, practically living a life of this kind, he had been selling cars in Arizona, no, Beverly Hills, and working in a post office. So what he was a military personnel who had been sent to moon. carrying one kind of a personality, extremely bright, extremely good achiever, and then what he had become. After 9, 10 years, he was just selling cars and he was working in a post office. So that achievement actually changed his personality. Otherwise, he would have been a extremely good personal who had been teaching so many people to become an astronaut. So when you ask me that we had been carrying this idea that personality is permanent, actually it is not permanent. It keeps on changing. I'm talking to you, I'm a different person. I'll talk to my wife, I'll be a different person. I'll talk to the other friend of mine, a different person. So Benjamin establishes it.
Interesting. And can I safely say the amazing and probably not so amazing thing about personality is you don't even come to know when it changes. It's something which happens automatically, isn't it?
Precisely. I mean, it's very, very correct way of putting it. Even if we don't want to change our personality, we cannot help it. It
Hmm.
will change.
Right,
It keeps on changing.
right.
Benjamin says very beautifully that whenever we look ourselves in the mirror, we change ourselves.
Oh,
See,
awesome.
think about it. Whenever we see ourselves in the mirror, we change ourselves. Of course, 30 years back when I had been looking in the mirror, I was something else. I was looking something else. Now, when I look in the mirror, I'm different. Every single second, I'm aging or I had been young. Personality is beautiful.
Yes. Also, the author, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, talks about a lot of psychological tests which are out there in the market and which are quite popular also. Those tests are being used by a lot of corporates and in different fields. So, why this reference of these tests, and what is the opinion of the author about these tests?
Okay. It's a beautiful concept. I remember in the book. But the important thing is that each and every person whosoever is there on this planet is interested in one thing, that is I. Everyone wishes to know about oneself. How am I? What exactly do I do things? What am I good at? How should I behave? And I. Personality is one trait. So everybody wishes to know what kind of personality am I? Am I an extrovert? Am I an introvert? Am I a party loving person? Am I an author? Am I a thinker, a philosopher, and merrymaking person or something like that? So it becomes automatic. It automatically becomes very interesting for few people to tell you that how exactly you look or what kind of personality you have. You are always interested in listening to that. And you start, if at all I become that kind of a person who tries to tell you, Bhaskar, you are that kind of a person. And if at all I ask a charge from you, a fees from you, probably you'll pay. So that becomes a huge, huge business across the world. Everybody wishes to know. The children today, in today's era, they wish to know what kind of personality they are having so they can choose a career. Even if the child may be very good in sketching, they would try to become an IT professional. He could very well become a architect, but he would try to become an IT professional because somebody told me that you are very good at computer. Only computer user, not a software engineer. So these tests are the Benjamin says these tests are not more than any horoscope. Uh, they just tell you a very broad picture of your personality, like you are introvert or extrovert. That's it. So, like Myers-Briggs, DISC, Winslow, NEO, EXCO, BinQAS, and Grams. There are more, brands which are available in the world, and they don't practically tell you what exactly you could be because the personality always changes.
So basically, I cannot behave in a similar manner in two different situations. One personality cannot be same in two different situations, right? And that is the reason it can never be permanent.
Precisely, he gave another example that he conducted a study with few psychologists, when one particular student had been interviewed from one interviewer, but different areas. Set of questions were precisely same, no different at all. Then another set was when the same student had been interviewed by different persons on different days. Now, the results were shocking. The student who had been interviewed with the same interviewer but different days on the same set of questions, all the answers were different. Every single
Okay.
day, the questions answers were different. You know, the student could not retain that kind of a consistency in his answer with the same interviewer. And in another set, where the interviewer was changing, everything was changed. Everything was changed. So think about it when you ask me one question today and I answer you something, and you ask the same question tomorrow, I would answer something different. And when we are the same person, talking. So even वहाँ पर हम लोग we cannot maintain those consistency. How can we say that our personalities are permanent? No, he rejects it.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So till now we are talking that personality changes by itself and one never comes to know. But then author also presses upon the fact that one can change his own personality, if he focuses on certain things. And that is where he uses a term which is frequently used in the book, future self. So how this future self helps me control my personality and change the personality accordingly.
Okay. Uh, First thing is the concept. I'll tell you first the concept, and then I'll give two examples which were given in this book. The very first thing is that he explains the aspects of ever-changing personality by giving so many stories and connecting. So when this particular fact gets established in our mind when we were reading this book, that okay, the personalities are changing. Now he suggests, so of course he clearly says that this is not a self-help book, but if at all we understand this concept of that personalities are changing, we can utilize this understanding in making our life good, in reaching where exactly we wish to achieve or reach. To achieve what we wish to achieve, we can utilize this tool. So the point is that there are so many methods which are available for resolving one particular thing like headache. I can have a painkiller, I can have a massage, I can sit down, something like that. I choose one. Okay, I'll have a painkiller and I'll have this talk here. The same way, understanding this concept, imbibing it in our life, planning is one option available after reading this book. Now, I'll give you two examples. If you remember, uh, there was a very famous movie series called Harry Potter,
Yes, I
right?
absolutely remember.
So the very first movie, when Harry Potter was there in the hall and all the students had been sitting out there, when he sat on the stool where the wizard hat had been put on his head, which was supposed to assign him to a house. And then, if at all you remember correctly, and Harry, kept on mumbling, not Slytherin, not
Not
Slytherin.
Slytherin, yes.
Slytherin was the name of the house, and not Slytherin, not Slytherin. The hat, the wizard hat, actually assigned him to Gryffindor. Gryffindor is another house where exactly Harry wanted to go. Later in the movie, in the second or third movie maybe, in the sequel, we came to know that Harry was actually uh, supposed to be there in Slytherin. Moreover, the Dumbledore made a statement out there, or somebody else probably, that if at all you would have been there in Slytherin, you would have been great. But there and then only, Harry made a choice not to be Slytherin. He made a choice to be Gryffindor. So there, he understood the concept of choosing, making a choice of reaching where he wanted to be. Another example I would like to give now, okay, that's a fiction. Another live example. We all know Elon Musk. Now,
Yes.
Elon Musk is quite a rich guy. But he has understood this concept, and he has uh, made a pact with himself that I wish, and he's quite audacious in declaring it publicly, that I wish to die on Mars. So he's making his future self in such a manner that he would like love to die on Mars. Means he's creating all those strategies, creating all those tools, creating all those arrangements that ultimately will reach on Mars. He might be having a home out there, he might be having a colony out there, and then very peacefully he will die there. So deliberately, after understanding this concept, he is choosing, is making a choice to change his personality, his environment, his everything. That's the concept.
That's pretty interesting, and you made it more interesting by introducing Harry Potter in between. That is because that is one of my favorite movie series.
Mine too,
That's one
mine
of
too.
that's one of my guilty pleasures as well. And like here we all are, and most of the people are, fighting in between in the office, doing politics, to become, to climb up the corporate ladder. And here's this one guy who wants to die on Mars. मतलब भैया audacity हो तो एलन मस्क
That's
जैसी,
it.
वरना कोई नहीं.
That's right. That's it. Another beautiful example, I would just like to take one
Yes
is
sir, please.
Benjamin gave. Benjamin had been driving from his office to his home, driving in the California, and it was pretty hot out there. Then he saw one very, very extremely fat person in the afternoon around 3 o'clock running. He had a good sneakers on and no shirt. And in the
Hmm.
California sun, then his entire body, the runner body, was flappy. The entire body was jumping. The flesh was practically jumping up and down, and he was dripping, all sweating, dripping. But Benjamin explained this that we had been watching this person who had been looking so funny and so stupid and so ugly running on the road, all flappy. But the person was so audaciously declaring his future self. Maybe he was that flashy that time, maybe he was looking that ugly, but his focus was his future self, that he would be absolutely fit and maybe he would be running marathon. So we need to prepare that kind of audaciousness in declaring what we need to do.
That's absolutely a different way altogether of looking at things. Pretty
Yeah,
interesting. So, having the privilege of knowing you a bit, I know you have a future self for you, for yourself also, in which you're sitting in a serene environment, and there's a gentleman who comes, then you invite him, and and you're wearing a certain kind of a cap. So, just for the benefit of our viewers as well, can you please describe your future self briefly, sir?
okay. I had been having this future self for quite some time, uh, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I wish to settle down in some hill in a serene environment where I would be, uh, writing my book. I will be recording a lot of videos. I'm already on few audiobooks. Uh, then I was just imagining, it's kind of an imagination, and you can always call it visualization. But
Yes.
visualization is very, very powerful. And when Benjamin told that future self, then these two things connect. Then I had been visualizing that some gentleman would come over to my office, to my study, and then he would present me a check of 5 lakh rupees, which would be a royalty of my book. So
Awesome.
obviously, that's my future self, and I'm uh, focusing and concentrating on that future self, and that future self is pulling me. I believe in this that it would actually pull me out there, and then okay. The more important thing is that I would be wearing a banda topa because it would be pretty cold out there. So that
that's
was the thing
that's the
which I
highlight.
yeah,
That's
that's
the
the main
highlight, sir.
important. I would be
Perfect.
wearing that banda topa.
A perfect super future self, I would say. My last question to you would be, sir, why one should read this book? Your recommendations.
Uh, Psychology is a very good subject altogether. It's a matter of understanding understanding us, our behavior, how exactly do we speak, how do we behave, how do we live our life. Moreover, I would just like to mention one thing is that Keith Trivedi had written a book called Man Month. There in that particular book, he mentioned that whatever we study or whatever we learn in school are all technical, whereas we should be taught proper psychology. Psychology actually pulls us to give us real quality of life. Technology actually gives us all materialistic kind of life. Whereas the question lies of you had been asking about my recommendation. Psychology is actually important for this particular reason only. When we understand ourselves, when we understand these concepts, we can drive our own life where we want to take it. Not the world actually takes us to their place. Uh, uh, on a very funny kind of a thing, the dog should be wagging the tail, not the tail wagging the dog. That's the point. So if at all we know, if at all we are dogs, we should wag the tail, not the tail wag us. That's more important. So that's why I recommend that this book should be read very, very seriously. I had read this book 3 times and I heard of the audiobook also for 3 times. I wanted to imbibe each and every word Benjamin said so that I can think better. I can improve my life better. So I would recommend it seriously, very, very strongly to everyone.
Awesome. And thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time and coming with us on this chat and sharing your views about this book. It was indeed interesting. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar, and I would like to thank all the viewers whoever are there. Pleasure is mine that I got this opportunity to tell about this book. Benjamin is a great guy. I seriously expect and pray to God that this book should benefit a number of people. Thank you so much, Bhaskar.
So, viewers, personality is not permanent. Personality changes with the environment. So, stop focusing on discovering what am I. Stop looking for I. Be cool. It's better that you think of a future self, which is good, and then make certain changes in yourself so that your personality becomes worthy of that future self. With this message, I will take your leave with a promise that we will be back again with yet another very, very interesting book and yet another very, very interesting member of ours. Till then, take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.